So Brock's going to work with you tonight on some formatting things because I have to go to the airport. And today's Tuesday, right? Thursday, guys, make sure and get your city, you got your city stuff done? Right, your city stuff's all done. Okay, and there's no formal class, but you need to work on your drafts because those are due next Tuesday, okay? So you have some work to do, and I wanted to talk to you tonight about the delimitations and limitations, whatnot, before I disappear out of here. So, let's go back here to Kim. I can't hold on to this and do everything.
You can wear it. Can you like flip it around like a necklace?
Wear it like a necklace. What do I do with this thing? You have no class Thursday, no quiz, no class, but you still haven't got 14 done. Well, let's see if you have it done accordingly, okay? Now, remember I mentioned you want to go to page 40, correct? Well, apparently no one knows how to turn a page. Because on page 40, on page 40 it's this, right? But if you turn the page, it tells you to write them out in sentence format. Are you with me? Okay. Did you write them out in sentence format? Chad says he did. Very good, Chad. Well, I know the other ones. I saw a few of the other ones and they weren't there, but it has to be in sentence format. And if you look at assumptions, it's the same thing. It's in sentence format, okay? Eric, does it make sense? That was a problem, all right? All right? So, you guys want to redo that, right? You know what to do now, right? Correct? Right? Okay. All right, you have an assignment for me today, correct? Do you have a critique for me today? And so 14 is still hanging out there. You want to make sure and get 14 done and get those, whatever. I'll take them with me, and then I'll email you if there's an issue. Okay? Because I won't see you.
I'll be expecting your email.
What? Thinking there's going to be an issue?
I'm sure there is.
Okay. Okay. You got it? This is 12. This is same as 12. Oh wait.
Did you want the quiz too?
Yes. Yeah. That was the one you got to redo and say there's no independent, dependent variables because it's not an experimental study. Yes, you did. You're falling apart. Yeah, the one you're redoing right now. Anything else?
Also.
You're also redoing, okay. You gotta take the page and go, turn it over.
I didn't see the sentence.
What?
I didn't see the sentences.
Yeah. Are you all set? What you got?
Well, okay. So I was like, obviously this is not a sentence, but are the rest of them quote-unquote sentences?
Yeah, you put them in sentences. Okay?
Okay.
Write them out. You guys, you want to, everybody listening? Because I'm not here on Thursday and your second draft is due, you might want to email 14, okay? So I can look at them and make sure that I can help you because second draft is coming up.
Wait, you're good. You can mail me, email me.
Because you did yours, but the rest of them haven't done theirs. They are correcting.
Is chapter 1, so it's not just introductions, all chapter 1, second draft? Okay.
Yeah, okay?
I don't think I got feedback on my significance part, though.
I don't have any papers up in my office. I looked through everything.
Really? You don't have my significance?
I didn't get my significance back.
In class.
We did them in class. Yeah, we did them in class.
I had to go home.
Was it that last Thursday?
Yeah.
You couldn't plug your laptop in. Oh, it was.
No, I had to leave because my wife locked her out.
No, that was a.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. That's when we did significance, though. With you?
With her, when everybody brought their computers up, but you couldn't get yours.
Send it to me, and I will respond. Okay? All right. So, okay, this is midterm week, right? So I'm not asking a lot this week because you probably have exams and everything. Aren't you?
I have one exam.
You have one? No exams this week? None?
Wednesday.
Yeah? You have one?
Next week.
Next week, okay. All right, so your second draft is due next week, right, on Tuesday? So if there's anything you want me to look at, email me, all right? You don't have a class on Thursday. There's some reading for you to do, though, some chapters I'd like you to read, all right? So make sure you do that, and you guys are doing real well. It's better to be face-to-face than it is online, because I know online it's really hard for those guys. Because they're not getting the face-to-face work, all right? So, Brock, you get to wear the necklace, and Brock's going to work with you on, what was the assignment I gave you? We're going to do,
We're going to look up the thesis and dissertation handbook, because that's how you guys are going to format your project. And we're going to cover pagination and how to number all your pages, and how to do table of contents.
and how to change from Arabic to Roman numeral to Arabic, yeah,
And stuff.
and how to set all the pages for APA,
Yeah,
okay?
and margin and other.
Okay.
Set it up.
Right? So,
I have a quick question about your email real quick. Were the numbers that you sent out this morning, for the 212 for the A, is that the lowest number you can get for an A type thing, like currently?
no, you shouldn't have that at all. I have no idea why I gave it to you guys. It's the wrong class.
I was really confused on that.
That's not for you guys.
Cool, okay. Cool.
That poor other class that was out wandering around, wondering about their grades. No, it's not for you guys. Now that's going to really mess up the online people because they don't watch the film and they don't keep up and they're going to get this and they're all going to go crazy. So I better go back and fix it. Better send them all emails before they're all hyperventilating somewhere. Okay. All right. Are you all set, Brock?
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Next month.
We had a lot of stressors today in the office, so there's a reason why I'm all screwed up. But I can't tell you. Are you all set, Brock?
Can I just send you all of chapter 1? Or do you want just as a significance part?
Well, I need to see the significance. I know what your study is, but you need to see the significance. If there's anything else you want me to look at, you can send it to me.
I can send you all, everything I have.
You gonna use your computer or not?
I'll probably use this one and bring mine up at the same time. I'll take this. Yes, I will. Yep, I'm all set. Yeah, drive safe, travel safe. Have fun. If we have any questions, we'll ask her when she gets back. Alrighty. So, I gotta pull the text up, what she told me to teach you guys today. She said, oh yeah, I was doing some work over there on the camera. Alright, we're working on pagination and navigation and how to do a table of contents, margins, and where the thesis handbook is. It's kind of intimidating when we tell you to look at the thesis handbook, because a lot of you aren't doing a thesis, but it's the exact same thing that we're doing. So I didn't do a thesis, I did a project, but I set it up exactly like a thesis would be set up. And then we are also going to look at how to set up a title page as well. All of this can be found in the thesis and dissertation handbook. So if you're on Idaho's website, just in the search bar, search for thesis handbook. It should be this first thing that pops up. And this tells you basically everything that you'll need to know. It doesn't necessarily tell you exactly how to do it. So that kind of throws you off a little bit. Some departments require things differently than others, so they kind of leave it a little bit vague, but this is a good rule of thumb to look at. Another thing that they do on here is on their sample pages. They didn't necessarily number the handbook the same way that they describe it in the sample pages, so it's kind of confusing, so we'll kind of talk about that to clear that up. But in here, if you follow this, it'll set you up. If you have any questions, or revert back to this. If you have questions about this, ask Dr. Stoll. I can help you out a little bit too. So again, we're going to look at title pages. We are going to look at table of contents page, and that's it really on this. And then we'll go down to part 3 and look at formatting and everything like that. So title page, if you go look at your title page, it needs to be, all of these little boxes are just little pointers and tips. It doesn't, again, it tells you what it should look like, but it doesn't necessarily tell you how to do it. That's where we will kind of go and look at that. There's no page number placed on your title page. So again, since this is page 3 of the handbook, again, this is a sample page, that wouldn't normally be there on your title pages. So make sure when you are setting up your title page, when you have your header up here, to set your page numbers, one thing that you definitely want to click is different first page. That'll keep the first page blank as long as you don't type anything in there. And then when you go down to the next page, I guess we don't have a next page yet. So when you go down to the next page, you can type a header and it won't show up on your first page. So again, make sure different first page. Another interesting thing about this is you need to center your title page both vertically and horizontally. If you've ever turned in a title page, you've probably never really known exactly where to put the stuff on the page, and you've hit like enter like 3 or 4 times and be like, oh, that looks decent. I've done that too, but that's not the right way to do it. Centered vertically and horizontally. So most of you are probably only turning in papers with titles about this big, centered vertically and horizontally. It looks a lot nicer when you have a big title page like this, and this is what all of yours will look like as well. It's a lot nicer this way because you have a ton of words to type. I haven't clicked on this link, so I'm going to click on it. Maybe it tells you how to do it. Sweet. So on the handbook, if you click on that link, we'll go back. On your title page, the sample title page where it says center the title both vertically and horizontally, if you click on this, it takes you to another page that will tell you exactly how to do it on Microsoft Word. It tells you how to center it between side margins horizontally, and tells you how to center it vertically as well. So we'll take a look at that. Step 1, select the text you want to center. So I'm going to copy, oh, maybe not. We're just going to build a makeshift title page. What's somebody's title? Actually, we'll just use mine, make it quick and easy. Mine was I have it right here, actually. Title page. Maybe I don't have mine, so we'll just make one. Do constraints to participation in collegiate intramural sports programs. So for your title of your title page, you want to make sure you capitalize it just like you would a book or anything like that. You're not citing it, so you're actually titling it. So make sure you capitalize all the words except articles and prepositions with more than 4 letters need to be capitalized. And then we will, one thing on here says pay close attention to the layout used on this page. Notice the spacing between the various sections. So after your title, you have a double space, and then it says a dissertation. A dissertation, again capitalized, space, presented in partial fulfillment of the requirements for the degree of, and then mine would be Doctor of Philosophy. I know. I'm just trying to see what they say. And then degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a, and it's going to want to automatically capitalize that for you, so make sure you don't let it. Major in education in the College of Graduate Studies by Brock E. Morris. And then again, we have some more spaces down here. It looks like 2 double spaces. Major professor. I don't have my everything set up exactly like they have it on here yet, so we'll go through and do that. Major professor, whoever that is, committee members, whoever they are, and then department admin, whoever they are, space down again, December, or mine would be a long time from now. So whenever you guys plan to graduate, date, which is your month and year. So now we have some words in here. Again, they're not formatted exactly like we will, but this is just to show you how to center your page. So center it, select all your text that you want to be centered, and then we will go to, click on that link, center the text horizontally, In the paragraph group, you can click center. So just like you would center right here on this page, center it. And then to center it vertically, we will need to select all of our words on the layout tab in the dialog launcher, which is the bottom right little arrow thing on the page setup one. Click on that, and then we'll click the layout tab, which is on the top. It's the third tab on PCs, and I believe it's really similar, just the layout tab under the page setup on Apple. If that's different, let me know. And vertical alignment, it's traditionally set at top. Top is the default alignment for that. So that's only gonna, whatever your top margin set at, that's where everything will be. If you hit center, hit OK, it's gonna lower everything just a little bit. And if you zoom out, that looks more like a title page that we're looking for. Again, not formatted completely correct. There are some extra double spaces in between what I just highlighted. Those need to come in a little bit closer. We'll talk about formatting that when we get there. That was just to show you the...
So what is the drop-down thing you clicked on?
So on the page setup under layout, are you on layout?
Yeah.
So page setup, and then the little dialog drop out. Let's see.
There's a page setup under file for Macs, but it doesn't look.
Go to align. All right, so Macs have a little bit different settings. Let me open mine real quick. Layout. Let's see. That's super interesting. So what we're going to do is go Google search real quick. All right, figured it out. Super confusing. So who has a Mac? You guys have Macs. All right, so select your text and then go to File and then go down to Page Setup. It's the third from the bottom. And then in the very top where it says Page Attributes, click that arrow and click on Microsoft Word. And then where it says Apply Page Setup Settings to, hit that button and click Selected Text. Are we there?
Sorry, I just got
Oh, you're good.
it set up.
Yeah, Page Setup, and then so Page Attributes, and then click down on that. Click Microsoft Word. And then Apply Page Setup Settings to Selected Text. And then click on Margins. And it brings up that dialog box. And then on you clicked on margin, so now go on the tab and hit layout. Scroll down a little bit to page, vertical alignment, center. A lot of extra steps. There's probably an easier way to do that. If I find it, I'll send it to you guys or Dr. Stoll in an email so that she can send it out to all you guys. That was super confusing. So again, that was just for Macs. If anybody online has a Mac, I'll send Dr. Stoll some emails. So yeah, that's how you center vertically. That's a very long explanation of how to do it, but important for when you're making your title page. And again, you can find the instructions for that on sample pages on the thesis handbook. If you just click on the vertically, or the word vertically, it has a hyperlink to that page. Some things to think about on the title page. We got to pay close attention to the spacing. If you noticed, these are all single spaced, or maybe 1.5 space. In each little section. So it'll be your title, a double space, a dissertation presented in partial fulfillment of the requirements, all the way down until you get to your name. And on this one, it says to ensure your degree and major match your registration in Vandal Web. So whatever your degree is, this you wouldn't on here put your specialty. So when I did mine, it said partial fulfillment of a degree of Master of Science with a major in Movement and Leisure Sciences in the College of Graduate Studies. I didn't put on there Movement and Leisure Sciences with an emphasis in sport, recreation, and tourism management. We can leave that off. Just write what your actual major is. So mine would be a major in education, and it wouldn't have like my sport ethics and character development stuff in it. Again, articles, so with, in, and by, you don't need those to be capitalized. Keep the full name and degree of your faculty member all in the same line. So major professor, whoever your major professor is, PhD. Committee members, they use Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr, and John Lennon is all their names. Keep those all in the same line. So if you had Ringo Starr right here at the end, you'd probably get Ringo and then Starr, comma, PhD would go to the next line. If you're ever gonna cut off someone's name, just enter it down to the next line. And then department administrator. And then your date at the bottom. Again, the month and year of a graduation semester, these are only 3 dates. There are only 3 dates you can choose from, May, August, or December. The administrator is often another term for the chair. So it would be, yeah, department administrator, department chair, things like that. You guys won't have any committees on yours, so you might not have to worry about this paper or this page, which is the authorization to submit. If you're actually doing a thesis, you'll have to have committee members so that when you go defend your thesis or present it or a dissertation, you actually have to have these people sign it. And a little bit later in this, we won't talk about it, but it talks about having deadlines, and you need to have everything in place ahead of time so that when you go present this to your committee, that they can just sign it right there. Sometimes it doesn't line up like that, and you have to go track them all down afterwards. So set deadlines and try to follow them. So again, we've looked at a title page. Another thing that we're going to look at is the table of contents. Table of contents is a little tricky. There's a lot of things. My table of contents was the hardest thing for me to get down, so I might not even have all the answers to it, but I feel like I have a decent understanding of it. And again, we have the APA manual that will help us out. Just trying to pull mine up on my computer real quick too, so I know. How to do it on Macs. All right, so table of contents. Again, this is a sample page, table of contents. All of the numbers that you have listed in your table of contents, once you set it up, it's very similar to your bibliography. It has it all formatted in the table of contents styles page. So if you create your table of contents, put it at the beginning, it's gonna update with all the numbers of your pages. So if you set your table of contents and then all of a sudden you go add like 4 pages in the middle of your paper and you hit update, it's gonna change all those numbers for you, which is really nice. The order of things that you need for you guys will be really, really short and simple. You will have most likely your title page, which you don't have in your table of contents, and then you'll have your table of contents, and then you'll go straight into your chapters. On mine, I didn't even label my table of contents in my table of contents, so I probably should have. But what's also really nice about a table, once you have it all set up, is if you follow the headings that we're working on, so if you have chapter 1 set as a heading, and then you have each of your pieces underneath that, so chapter 1, if you have your introduction, if you have your need for study, significance of study, all of those set up as headings, they will show up in your table of contents. I'll show you what mine looks like, and you'll be able to actually click on just those, and they will take you directly to them. So this is my table of contents right here. Chapter 1 is set up as a heading 2. Click on that, takes me straight to chapter 1. If I'm like, oh, I don't really care about the first 3 chapters, I want to know what they found in this study, you can find chapter 4 and just click. You don't really necessarily want to look at the numbers that I got, but you want to know what the numbers mean. You can just go, oh, description of results, boom, and there's my description of my results. So if you have it all set up nicely, that will help you out. And this is why it's important to have all these different heading styles. So chapter 4 I had set as heading 1, results I had set as heading 2, and then problem statement was heading 3 for me, and then description of results heading 3. So when you go back to your table of contents, you have your heading 1s, and then your heading, every subheading under your chapter is going to be indented a little bit farther on your or on your table of contents, so that it doesn't look like it's all the same. Again, we will figure out how to format that in just a second.
Is heading 2 and heading 3, or heading 1 and heading 2 the same format in terms of?
On page 61 in your APA manual, it says, just kidding, 62. So level of heading. Heading 1, and mine was a bad example for you guys because heading 1, chapter 1 on mine was a better example. Chapter 1 is heading 1. Heading 1 should be centered, bold-faced, uppercase and lowercase heading. And then heading 2s.
So it didn't say the font?
Nope, but it's Times New Roman 12 font.
It's 12 font?
Yeah, 12 font. And then level of heading 2 will be flush left, boldface, uppercase, and lowercase heading. And then heading 3 will be an indented heading. So if you look at mine, I got heading 1 right here. And if you don't know which heading you're under, click on the words or on the text and it'll tell you heading 1 is highlighted. And then heading 2 for introduction is highlighted. And then I scroll down. I don't think I have a heading 3 in chapter 1. So I'll go back to chapter 4. So chapter 4, heading 1, centered, boldface, uppercase, lowercase. Results, heading 2, it's flush left, bold-faced, uppercase, and lowercase. And then problem statement for this chapter in particular is heading 3, which is indented, bold-faced, lowercase paragraph heading, ending with a period. Mine doesn't end with a period. I think it's specific to, again, this is where like specific journals that you are submitting to, they have specific rules to follow. For this class, I was told not to put periods. So that's why it's important to have the APA manual, because it'll tell you how to do all that stuff. if you look at all of this stuff in the handbook, it tells you use 1.5 to 2 spacing in between your table of contents. What that does is it doesn't stack them right on top of each other like a single spacing would, but it also doesn't make it so that you have a ton of extra space on your table of contents. So if your table of contents is a page and then it goes like 2 or 3 lines on the second page, think about going to 1.5 spacing instead of double spacing on that. One other interesting thing about a table of contents that you will see is all of these ones, the numbering on them are Roman numerals, lowercase Roman numerals, and then all of these are your traditional numbers. Over here, again, starting at 1, that's one thing we'll do in just a minute, is show you how to change the pagination of your paper. So again, we looked at table of contents. When you go to Microsoft Word, we're just going to add another page to this. So when you go to Microsoft Word, come on. Oh, it's because I did. I forgot I centered this. So 1 second. When you're on Microsoft Word and you have your headings in, we're actually just going to go to mine. And when you want to enter your table of contents, one thing that you're going to have to do is add a blank page to the beginning of your paper. So everybody add a blank page. I'll add one too, just to show you. Blank page. And so what that did is it added a whole new blank page. And if you have all your headings already used in style sheets, if you go to, is it layout? Insert? References? Yes, references. So if you go to references on Microsoft Word and you click on the down arrow of table of contents, you will see a ton of different styles of table of contents that you can choose from. There's a specific way to format this one. So I would click on custom table of contents. And then we want to, let's see what mine looks like. Let's see. It doesn't want to let me pull up my settings of mine. But, table of contents. So, again, click on custom table of contents, and we will look it up in here real quick. Maybe not. We'll come back to table of contents once I remember exactly all the details of it. But basically, you are going to, kind of how we've done everything else, you have different indentations and things like that. One thing you want is your chapter 1s to be your heading 1s. You want them flush left in your table of contents, and then everything else you want indented. So when you do click on that table of contents and custom table, it will show you can modify everything. So table of contents 1, table of contents 2, table of contents 3. these are all the different style sheets that you can use. So on mine, once you set it up, if you click on everything, it takes you directly there. So watch out for that. On my style sheets, interesting. I only have table of contents heading. So we'll come back to table of contents. I'll have Dr. Stoll show us exactly how to do it next time because I don't remember all the exact numbers for these. But you want your heading 1s to be flush left, and then headings 2s and 3s need to be indented just a little bit, but I have a feeling I don't remember the numbers. So we'll come back to that later. So if I confused you all, sorry. But we'll come back.
Do we need a table of contents?
Yep.
Next Tuesday?
For next Tuesday, I'm not sure if what are you guys turning in again? Just chapter 1. So you probably don't need your table of contents for next Tuesday. Just turn in the same draft that you turned in. Well, not the same one, updated one of what you turned in. And if you have everything style sheeted, your headings and everything else, creating your table of contents is literally a couple clicks of the button, and then we just have to modify. And there's it doesn't show you in the APA menu how to do that. So I will have Dr. Stoll show us how to do that when she gets back. But for formatting, one thing that we are going to go cover real quick is the margins, page numbers, fonts. We already covered fonts, text sizing, line spacing. In here it tells you how to do titles and subsection titles and things like that. We can take a look at that because that might help us with our table of contents. It actually might help us right here. Table of contents, 1.5 spacing, use dot leaders, we already covered that. Once you click on the table of contents, it'll give you those dot leaders, so you don't have to actually put those in. But yeah, we will look at the formatting real quick of the pages and how to do those. If you have any tables or anything, you have to also have a table of contents for like tables and figures. So if you put in a picture of a graph, or if you put in a table of your results, so I'm sure you guys have read articles that have tables of results and things like that, you have to, if it's in section 1 or if it's in section 2 or chapter 2 or chapter 3, that's where you'll see the 3.1. So the first table in chapter 3 is labeled 3.1. You'll have to have a table of list of graphic and explanatory materials. It's basically a table of contents for your tables. So margins. For all pages in your document, they must have their margins set as follows. It's kind of interesting. 1 inch on the right, 1 inch on the bottom, and 1.2 to 1.3 inches on the left. It's kind of interesting, but that's what they call for. The reason for that is a lot of times when you get these things done, you'll get them binded. And if you have them at just an inch on the left and you bind it, it'll probably cut off some words. So it's just like when you open a book, there's a little bit more space in the middle of the book than there is on the outsides. Did you have a question?
Oh, sorry. Does it say 1.2 to 1.3 on the left?
Yep.
And does it have anything about the top? It doesn't.
So we'll kind of talk about the top. The top will automatically do it once we set our numbers. So again, 1 on the right, 1 on the bottom, and 1 on the left. And for those of you who don't know how to set that up, you go to, again, layout. In your page setup, you can hit, it has the margins drop down, and it's probably set to normal, which is 1s all the way around, and you can just hit custom margins. So on the left, bump that up to 1.2, leave all the other ones at 1, and hit OK. And if you see the cursor popped in just a little bit. If you are using footnotes, which you won't for this, 1-inch bottom margin must be maintained. The top margin, don't worry about the top margin. If it's set the way that it should be set, just by default, it'll position itself when you set your numbering. Your numbering should be set for about 3/4 of an inch from the top of your page, and then it'll set your top margin roughly around an inch. So it should do it automatically. Page numbers. This is kind of where it gets a little confusing. And what I'll do is I'll pull mine up when we actually go to input the page numbers so that you can see how to do it. It's kind of tricky to change from Roman numerals to regular numbers after your preliminary pages. So all page numbers in all sections of the document, upper right-hand corner, that's just standard. This includes your appendices and any pages using landscape orientation. So if you have a page that's flipped sideways in the middle of your page or in the middle of your report, the top right is still going to be where you put your page number. The only page number that should not have a page, or the only page that should not have a page number is your title page. For all preliminary pages. So all preliminary pages for us will be the table of contents. And if you also have like a table of lists of figures and things like that, those will have lowercase Roman numerals. And then Arabic numbers, which are traditional numbers, must be used for every page in the rest of the document, beginning with 1 on the first page of chapter 1. So, to kind of take a step back, if you have a landscape page in the middle of your thesis or dissertation, the page number must appear on the upper right corner in the portrait position. So, even if it's sideways, it's still in the top right of the portrait mode. And I'm pretty sure Microsoft Word will take care of that for you. So again, here is mine. Table of contents. If you look at my heading on my table of contents, which is my preliminary page, lowercase I for Roman numeral 1, and then lowercase II for Roman numeral 2, and then chapter 1 starts with number 1. So, does anybody know how to do that? It's kind of tricky. When you click inside your heading to put your page number, it should pull up under the tab at the top under header and footing, or header and footer. You can just click on page number, the down arrow. And for Macs, it'll just give you 3 options: page number, format page numbers, remove page numbers. What does it give you on PC?
Page number, format page numbers, remove page numbers.
So yeah, on PC it gives you top of page, bottom of page, page margins. So you are going to want to hit format page numbers, and then we will go from there. So format page numbers, once you bring that up, it'll bring you a dialog box. I'll do it on the PC right after this so everybody can see. You will want to, on your first page of your table of contents, have number format be lowercase Roman numerals. So number format, scroll down until you find lowercase Roman numerals, and you will then just hit OK. And what that'll do is it'll set all of them to lowercase Roman numerals. So what it should do when you do that is set every single page to lowercase Roman numerals. So my chapter 1 still has lowercase Roman numeral 3, page 4, lowercase Roman numeral 4. What you want to do in order to set up a difference in there is at the end of your table of contents page, so if you're working on just a random page right now, go up to Insert, the Insert tab, and then where it says Page Break, for you on Macs or on PCs, do you have like a drop down arrow?
I'm actually still trying to get the number in here. It's not
Okay.
showing up.
So, oh, you're good. So hit page number, format page numbers, lowercase, hit OK. Oh, that is interesting.
I just have a fake one in there for now to hold in place.
There you go. So go up to your title page real quick. And then right at the bottom of it, like right at the end of May 2019, and then go to insert, and then interesting. I was gonna hit page break. So one thing that you gotta do in order to be able to change from Roman numerals to regular numbers to Arabic numbers is insert a special page break. So for those of you on Macs, if you scroll down to the bottom of your page where you want to switch from Roman numerals to Arabic numbers, click on File, or click on your File tab, and then where it says Insert, you can go down to Break, and you should be able to do this on PCs as well. So go all the way up to, do you have a hit, let's see, if you put your cursor all the way to the top, does it bring down like a file? So put your cursor all the way up to the top, even higher. No. Hit File.
What I did, I figured it out.
You did? Sweet. What does it look like?
When I went in here, so I have my line there, and then here, you go in to page number, format page numbers, and you do start at, and you can change it. For mine, it changed.
Okay, sweet. So you don't even necessarily have to set up a special.
Like, okay.
Sweet. But yeah, so for those of you using Macs right now, if you click on Insert at the end of the page that you wanna, where you wanna change, and then go down to Break and hit Section Break, and then where it says Continuous, click Section Break Continuous. And then what that will do is it'll add a special section break in here, and when you click on your header, you will be able to format things a little bit differently. So once you're there, let me know. What are you doing?
I'm updating my head.
Oh, okay, sweet. And then were you able to get there? Sweet.
Yeah, it's still messed up there.
Awesome. So for that one, go to the header. Just click inside of it. Different first page. And then actually delete your page numbers from this page. So just go to page number and hit remove. And then scroll down to page 2. Click on page 2 on that one. And go to page number. And then format page numbers. Oop. Format. And you can just hit start at lowercase I, hit OK. That takes you to that page, and then scroll down to this one, and you have it perfect. Sweet.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so that is 2.
Oh,
It's supposed to be 1.
you'll start that one at 1.
Okay.
I didn't really pay attention to what the number actually was.
Okay.
There we go. Oop.
No, I'm still.
Okay, so click into this page out here. This is where you're going to insert a special break. So go to File, or go to Insert right there, Break, Continuous. And what that should have done is change that. So now hit page number up here. Oh, okay. So click into page numbers, format page numbers. That's super interesting. I don't know. I'll go look at mine real quick. Sam, were you able to figure it out?
Okay, so, all right, so I have the numbers set up for,
Okay.
yeah.
So you
Now
have
I'm
them
just trying
all.
to figure out the page break
Yeah.
thing.
So let's put in, let's say you have your table of contents up here. So right here, go to insert and then
It's a page break.
yes. But what that's going to do is just give you an extra page.
Oh, okay.
But I'm trying to figure out why. Can you right click on that on page break? No, it didn't give you anything. If you scroll all the way to the top, does it give you? Nope. That's so interesting that doesn't. Huh. It's interesting. I don't know how or why it's not letting you add a special page break. But anyways, we can change these by going, so click on this heading, edit header, and then for these numbers, go to page number and hit format. And then say this was the beginning of chapter 1 and your table of contents was the rest. Hit start at, and then change number format to 1, 2, 3. And start it at 1, hit OK.
So does that
Let's
change?
see what that did. Oh, dang.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to have a special break in there.
Right.
Let's.
I figured it out.
You did?
Yeah, I had to do because I was doing a page break up here, so I just went and clicked in front of chapter 1 and did a page break, and then it fixed it.
Okay. Sweet. Let's take a look at the PC version of it and figure out. So we're going to have our table of contents added in right here. And then after the page number, lowercase, oh, oops. Oh man, this isn't working for some reason. Dr. Stoll's gonna fail me again. All right, so page numbers, format, we'll start italics, boom.
Go to, what did you say to go to? Go to the top of the page, and then put it, yeah.
Boom. And then, yeah, I meant to do it here. There we go. So again, this is your table of contents page. And then when you want to insert another page, you will add a page break and it'll add it as number 2. But usually you can decide if you want a special page break. Or a sections page break actually.